Y'all ready?
We're ready.
We call the July 27, 2020 meeting of the Mexico City Council to order.
Haig,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the minutes from July 13th?
Let's make a motion. Or second.
who made the motion? I'm sorry.
Ms. Briggs?
Haig,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yep, I abstain.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Okay, first order of business resolutions, reading by title only and passage. Bill number 2020-34, a resolution authorizing the offering for sale of sewage system refunding revenue bonds, Series 2020, the redemption of certain outstanding sewage system revenue bonds for the city of Mexico, Missouri, and certain other documents and actions in connection therewith. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor. In May of 2010, and then again in April of 2011, the city issued wastewater revenue bonds, and these bonds were used to make certain improvements to the wastewater treatment plant and collection system. Currently, we have a combined outstanding principal. The actual principal outstanding is now $8,755,000, because we've just recently made a payment on those. And the final maturity on the 2010 issue is 2014, and the 2011 issue is 2032. As council knows, the goal is always to get the most out of every tax dollar, and that's been kind of our goal. And therefore, staff has been monitoring the financial markets over the last couple of years and to try to determine when to take advantage of lower interest rates and refinance these bonds. And of course, like homeowners facing racing to lock in low interest rates, the city can refinance their outstanding debt and take advantage of historic low interest rates as well. And so, given the current financial markets, we have an exceptional opportunity right now to refinance our outstanding bond balances at a lower interest rate, as well as reduce our maturity term. So, as of July 1 of this year, both bond issues are callable, what they call it par. What does that mean is that at their face value without penalty for prepayment. The new bond amount would be estimated at this point, because of the recent payment, to be $1,445,000 less, and if we refinance them. And because of this, is the reasons why is that the bond reserve requirements have changed. And so, as you know, we had to hold certain money in a reserve account, and we don't have to do that any longer. So we can take that money and actually pay down on them now if we refinance. Also, we get the opportunity to, in today's market, people are actually paying you a premium to take city bonds. So they're actually paying you more than face value right now because they want them, because they're such a good investment. So they're paying a premium on those. So as we calculate the lower bond amount, we calculate in the lower interest rates, and we, based on all that, we could actually, by refinancing, save $3,185,000 over the life of these bonds to refinance them. And the new total maturity would be 8 years less, so we can have everything paid off in 12 years instead of 20 years as a part of this. So approval of the following resolution would authorize the city to offer at competitive sale approximately $7,310,000 in a principal amount for the sewerage system refunding revenue bonds, and it would authorize us to proceed in fulfilling those requirements, complete the transactions as necessary, and close on the refunding. So at this time, we would certainly recommend council proceed with reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution, which would authorize the city to offer for competitive sale the sewer system revenue bonds, Series 2020. It would authorize myself and other city officers, as well as representatives such as our bond counsel, our finance advisor, and so on, to make the appropriate transactions in receiving, reviewing, accepting bids, and direct all other related procedural matters to close on the bonds. And there are some other procedures that would need to be done, and we did attach to all of this a calendar of events. So we would have, we've had the rating call, and we would receive that information. And then at the next council meeting, you would have an ordinance approving the parameters, and we would have the bids that come in after that. And then eventually, by the August 27th meeting, you'd have the closing and final actions. So we think, based on all the interest rates and scenarios, right now is the best time to do this and save some money. And basically, over the long term of this, it's obviously not cash in hand, but when you look at that amount of savings over the life of the bonds, that's a significant amount of money, and we can move on to other projects quicker, and hopefully warrant off additional large increases in rates because of having lower amounts outstanding.
Pleasure of the council.
I move for reading of bill number 2020-34.
I second it.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bill number 2020-34, a resolution authorizing the offering for sale of sewage system refunding revenue bonds, Series 2020, the redemption of certain outstanding sewage system revenue bonds of the City of Mexico, Missouri, and certain other documents and actions in connection therewith. I move for passage of Bill 2020-34.
Second.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Okay, bill number 2020-35, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with the Central Missouri Honor Flight for requested funding from the Mexico tourism tax. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, the Tourism Commission has met and reviewed applications for funding, and to review those recommendations, we'll turn to Roger Haynes.
Good evening, Council. The Mexico Tourism Commission met on Tuesday, July 21st, and as part of that meeting, they reviewed a request for tourism funding from Central Missouri Honor Flight, who is wishing to have a tractor pull on Saturday, August 15th at the 4-H fairgrounds. The amount requested for the event was $5,000, and after discussion through the Commission, they are recommending funding of $2,500. Staff recommends that Council concur with the Mexico Tourism Commission's recommendation and proceed with reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution. One of the questions that was asked of the Commission is, would this event be recurring back in Audrain County? The initial response on that was not likely because the organization handlers are out of the Boone County area, and the reason that it is here rather than Boone County this year is because of COVID-19 does not allow them to hold the event in Boone County because of the number of people that may attend.
What happens if they don't get to hold it here? Then we get the money back?
Well, it would be on a reimbursement
Oh, we just reimburse?
basement, yeah.
Ready for a motion?
Yes.
I move for a reading by title only, bill number 2020-35.
Second.
Bill,
Briggs,
yes.
Shivers,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bill number 2020-35, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with the Central Missouri Honor Flight for requested funding from the Missouri tourism tax. I move for passage. Should I say the amount? Would you? I move for passage.
Second.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Okay, bill number 2020-36, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign change order number 2 with Flowmaster Construction for the 2020 concrete project. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. I want to say it was 4 weeks ago, 2 council meetings ago, that we had a bill before you, which was to look at construction for a new entrance into Garfield Park off the boulevard, which council tabled, and then you, following that, had a meeting with concerned parties and so on at Garfield, and then we had general instructions from staff to look at another project instead of that, which was looking at the shelter floor replacement and some sidewalk in place of doing that at this time, and then look at the entrance at another time. And so we've went back and got some bids on that, and to cover the bids and the information found, you're welcome.
Good evening, Council. Bruce pretty well covered it with that intro. Staff is looking at replacing the Garfield Park shelter, and what you have up on the screen here are just a few quick set of plans that relate to this project. The shelter, as you may know, the slab is deteriorated, it actually is disjointed, and so in some respects causes tripping hazards. Staff is looking at replacing that slab, and as part of this work would also raise the elevation of the slab so that we could have some better drainage around the site. It would also construct ADA compliant sidewalk from the existing sidewalk to the shelter itself, and the intent there is to make the park more accessible, more user friendly for the people using the park. We're looking at about 90 feet of ADA compliant sidewalk. The project cost was submitted by Flowmaster, who, just FYI, this is a change order to the 2020 concrete project, and Flowmaster won that was awarded that bid on March 9th. And so Flowmaster was approached, they provided a bid of $30,000, and that's $5,000 over the $25,000 budgeted, but we do have the available funding for $5,000 to be taken out of project reserves. So staff would recommend that we proceed by reading title only and passage of this attached resolution to reconstruct the Garfield Park shelter slab and add sidewalk. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I don't have a question, but I do have a concern that I understand it's a change order and Flowmaster won the bid for the other project, but this is a totally different project. So I feel like we're kind of on the line here doing this correctly, because I feel like this should have been put out for bid again, because this is a totally different project. I mean, a change order is something that's done with something.
So I did go back and I did look at the cost we had on other shelter floor projects. This is a good price. If I felt like it wasn't a good price, we probably would have come back to you and said, we don't think this is a good price.
And that's fair, but I'm stating my concerns.
No, I hear
I
you.
feel like it's
I hear
a
you.
different
We tried to
project,
do
and
due diligence on it.
our rules say we should bid this. I mean, and I feel like we're kind of circumventing the rule here.
Well,
to
it's
just-
less than 50% of the overall project, so you're allowed change orders within the policy of less than 50% of the project. So it does follow our, what, is that correct? 40%? Is it 40%?
I want to say it's 50, but I'd have to read it to know for
Yeah.
sure.
So I do think it falls within the rules, or we would have brought it.
And it was remember, it was part of that initial change order number 1 that we did, that came up a couple of weeks ago.
Right, but that was for a different project altogether.
No, but it was
That was for
in
an
this-
entrance to a parking lot, and this is for a shelter. Those are two entirely
but it was
different.
still coming up as a change order.
Right,
for
and
the-
I'm saying,
for-
I understand that, but I
And so it
find some
ensued from-
ethical problems with how this is being
It came out of the
presented.
conversation.
I understand. I'm just voicing my
Oh, no, that's
concerns over it. So,
Well, there were, this is a little bit different than what you're saying, but when Steve and me and Ayanna all went to the Garfield meeting, and one thing that was expressed to us very strongly was a real desire for that shelter house floor to be fixed. There's some strong complaints about that, plus that sidewalk that goes down the hill, and, it doesn't go to it stops, it doesn't go to the shelter house. So I appreciate the fact that we are getting something done that perhaps we had people that live in that area really wanted done. So
no,
I appreciate that.
I don't have a problem with the project either.
Yeah.
I think the project's
I
needed.
understand what you're saying, but-
I just feel like it should be bidded as a separate project rather than a change order. I know, it is what it is, but I just want that to say what I said, so.
I move for the reading of Bill 2020-36.
Second.
Briggs,
Briggs?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Daydreaming.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Bill number 2020-36, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign a change order number 2 with Flowmaster Construction for the 2020 concrete project. I move for passage of bill number 2020-36.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
No.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay. Bill number 2020-37, a resolution accepting the permanent easement for sanitary sewer improvements by Home Bank in Mexico, Missouri. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. As part of the construction with Home Bank, they had to get sanitary sewer to their building, and as a part of that, they had to extend the main line to get there. And so therefore, ultimately, the need for this. So to cover the details, I'll once again turn to Drew Wilk.
And council, I direct your attention to the viewing screen here. It essentially shows the easement area along with the sanitary sewer and the manhole that's being proposed for acceptance. So I'm going to somewhat combine Bill 37 in my description with Bill 41, I think it is, as the two relate. Bill 37, which is the one we're discussing, is the easement itself, which must be accepted before we actually accept the ownership and maintenance of the actual utilities themselves. And so what you see on the screen is the highlighted area, but also what would be associated with the actual utilities, which total about 160 lineal feet of sanitary sewer and a manhole. These were constructed to city standards. We were monitoring the construction and inspecting it, so we are assured of that. And so staff would recommend with proceeding by reading in title only of the attached resolution for accepting the permanent easement for sanitary sewer improvements by Home Bank.
Pleasure of the council. On the question?
Pretty
You want to
straightforward.
try it?
Oh, you want me, I move that we read in title only bill number 2020-37.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2020-37, a resolution accepting the permanent easement for sanitary sewer improvements by Home Bank in Mexico, Missouri.
I move for passage.
Oh, I got,
Yes.
Move
I
for
move for
passage.
I move for passage. Bill number 2020-30. So you want me to read it again?
No.
Okay.
No, it's perfect.
All right.
Second, yeah, second. Good job, better than I ever did.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay. Bill number 2020-38, a resolution accepting the conveyance of temporary construction easements for the Mexico to Muldrow Street sidewalks Phase 1 from Jackson Street to Quisenberry Street, tab 4400-311. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. This, as you know, we received a federal highway grant to do some sidewalk improvements along Muldrow, and we had to get some construction easements. And to cover the details of these two easements,
This is a sidewalk project on both sides of Muldrow, running basically from Jackson Street to Quisenberry Street, excepting that part that's on railroad right-of-way. To do the project, we needed 3 temporary construction easements. One we obtained some time back. The council accepted from Prater, which is the car wash there. These easements from Summer Holding, which is the mini golf course property, and the Bank of Missouri, which we needed because of driveway and being able to get driveway slope and all, have all been donated to the city at no cost. And in order to proceed with the project, we would recommend acceptance of these temporary easements. This then opens the way for our next step, which would be MoDOT approval to begin advertising for construction.
Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to read bill number 2020-38.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2020-38, a resolution accepting the conveyance of temporary construction easements for the Mexico Muldrow Street Sidewalk Phase 1 from Jackson Street to Quisenberry Street. I move for passage of bill number 2020-38.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay. Bill number 2020-39, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Huntback Services Environmental Specialists for digester tank cleaning at the wastewater facility. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, we had this as a budgeted item to clean this tank and removal of some epoxy painting that is coming loose and plugging up the lines, and to cover the details of the bids. As you asked.
As Mr. Slagle noted, the epoxy lining on our secondary digester has been peeling off, and those pieces of epoxy, if you will, have plugged up on two different occasions our biosolids return line. We have to essentially take that line apart, clean that out. So we determined the best course of action would be to go ahead and remove as much of the loose epoxy from the digester as possible. Huntvac Services out of St. Louis submitted the low bid. We had 3 bids. They had the low bid. They were the only ones that came and actually looked at the digester and looked at the situation. Our staff has emptied the digester, removed the biosolids at this point, and the difference in the bids basically is that the other 2 bid having to pump those biosolids out along with removing the epoxy, and so that's the difference here in the bids. We would recommend proceeding. We do need that secondary digester to go back into service as soon as possible. It does affect our ability to dispose of the biosolids by drying them and then placing them on farm fields. At this point, we have to place the liquid on the fields. That is a more labor-intensive process. We have to basically make multiple loads in comparison to what we would have to do with the dry or drier material. So we would ask for approval of the contract so that we can proceed.
Okay. Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to read bill number 2020-39.
Second.
Who's second?
Briggs.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2020-39, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Huntvac Services Environmental Specialists for digester tank cleaning at the wastewater facility. I move for passage of bill 2020-39.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Okay. Ordinances, 2 readings by title only and passage. Bill number 2020-40, an ordinance amending Chapter 38, Article 10, Schedule 2 of the Traffic and Vehicle Schedule for the Mexico City Code. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, this is for the placement of traffic control devices for Amelia Drive and Felton Street intersection, and to cover the details of what engineering is proposing. You're welcome.
Good evening, council. Let me get this rotated here just really quickly. Maybe not so quickly. Well, if it comes up, it comes up. With completion of Falcon Street from Amelia Drive to Fairgrounds, it's important to note that we do have a stop sign that's been put up at the intersection of Falcon and Fairground, as that was already in the traffic schedules as a stop-controlled intersection that did not need to go through council passage. However, the intersection of Amelia and Falcon is not, and so engineering conducted a study at that intersection, which is not not visible at the moment, I apologize, and found that a yield control would be most sufficient for the intersection, as we don't anticipate very high traffic volumes, but we do recommend placing a traffic control device of some kind, as there is a sight distance issue there with vehicles that are parked in the adjacent, in essence, creating a conflict between northbound traffic on Amelia and then would be eastbound traffic on Falcon Street. So we would recommend placing a yield sign for the vehicles on Amelia Drive. Falcon is viewed to be the primary or through street, and with hopeful development occurring eventually to the east of Teal Lake Village, it would furthermore be so, having more traffic volumes associated with it. So we would recommend proceeding by 2 readings, title only, and passage of the attached ordinance. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I have one. So when you're coming into Falcon Street on Amelia, you don't propose putting a stop sign or anything? Because it dead ends right there, basically, at this point. So they can just come on through and turn?
Correct. We would make that, it'd be somewhat similar to over at Quail Hill and Falcon, if I understand my locations right, where Falcon has the straight through, and you can just go immediately right or left there, and then you actually have the stops. And so it'd be a similar case to that, but that's the intent of making Falcon Street the primary or the through street there.
Okay.
They would have the movement.
Okay, thank you.
Are we not concerned about, I mean, I understand traffic flow, but are we not concerned about children? Because it seems like a pretty busy place for a lot of children playing around there and doing that, and I don't know, I mean, I would feel safer with stop signs rather than yield if it'd be a 3-way stop there. I mean, because I've dropped off children on the bus there, and quite a few children get off the bus there at Amelia Street, and I mean, I'm just thinking of safety of kids, not so much flow of traffic at that point. I mean,
Yeah, I can understand your concern there. The residential areas are all about 30-mile-per-hour speeds. We do have some cases where you'll find people don't obey the speed limit and end up going over that 30-mile-per-hour limit, and we try to deploy a traffic counter if we do find that to be the case and involve our enforcement areas. We also note that that sort of issue does occur frequently throughout the city, and we don't find that a stop sign is warranted. Sometimes in engineering you get into that role of if you put in a stop sign to require every vehicle to stop, it may create more problems, both on a crash level but also an enforcement level as well. And so you have, what we look at is weighing the pros and cons, and I understand the concern, absolutely. I don't think because of pedestrians crossing there, they have good sight distance. I don't think that vehicles, when they're approaching an intersection, will have problems with the pedestrians seeing them, but I think they'll have problems seeing other vehicles that are approaching northbound, if that makes sense.
If Falcon Street gets extended on through, I mean, there's development that gets extended on through, then it seems like you might want to consider a stop sign.
We would reevaluate it, absolutely.
Now you've just got traffic going this way and traffic coming in.
Yep.
So
That is correct.
I move for first reading of Bill 2020-40.
Second.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
yes.
Miller,
Yes. An ordinance amending Chapter 38, Article 10, Schedule 2 of the Traffic Vehicle Schedule of Mexico City Code. I move for the second reading of Bill 2020-40.
Second.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes. Bill 2020-40, an ordinance amending Chapter 38, Article 10, Schedule 2 of the Traffic Vehicle Schedule of City of Mexico City Code. I move for passage of Bill 2020-40.
Second.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Okay. Bill number 2020-41, an ordinance accepting a portion of sanitary sewer constructed for Home Bank in Mexico, Missouri. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor. As we heard earlier this evening with the resolution accepting the easement Home Bank of Mexico, Missouri had to extend sanitary sewer along the west side of South Clark in order to service their new branch. This is now, at this point, we'll be taking, this ordinance would take over the ownership and maintenance of the public facilities of that 160-foot of sanitary sewer. And so at this time, unless you have any additional questions, council, staff would go ahead and recommend that we proceed with 2 readings by title only of the attached ordinance and accepting the reference sanitary sewer facilities.
I move for the first reading of bill number 2020-41.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2020-41, an ordinance accepting a portion of sanitary sewer constructed for Home Bank in Mexico, Missouri. I move for the second reading of bill number 2020-41.
Second.
Bill number 2020, oh, sorry.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2020-41, an ordinance accepting a portion of sanitary sewer constructed for Home Bank in Mexico, Missouri. I move for passage of bill number 2020-41.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay. Moving right along, bill number 2020-42, an ordinance to vacate the 12.5 wide east-west alley in College, Lakeland, and Barnes addition to the city of Mexico, Missouri. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, staff did receive a request to vacate the alley, and therefore that required the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they have a recommendation for you after hearing the case. And to cover the recommendation and the location, we'll turn to Rita Jackson, Community Law Director.
Good evening, Council.
Evening.
This agenda item concerns a request to vacate a 12.5 wide east-west alley in Layton and Barnes addition to the City of Mexico. Breckenridge Street bounds this alley to the north, Mansfield Street to the south, Morris Street to the west, and Fairground Street to the east. Staff received a request from Julia Redmond to vacate this alley, which runs adjacent to her property located at 611 South Morris. 5 adjacent property owners, utility companies, and public safety were notified with no objection. The Planning and Zoning Commission met on July 7th and made recommendation to approve the vacation of this alley. The minutes of those meetings are attached. This alley has not been improved or maintained by the city. There is not public necessity for improvement. This alley, when vacated, will be vacated for all general, vehicular, and public traffic purposes. Once vacated, the property will be returned to the adjacent property owners at equal proportions. This alley vacation will also allow for utility easement retainage. Staff recommends that council proceed with 2 readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance. This ordinance has been posted the required time.
Question. Are these squares the property lines?
The individual,
You think so? I'm just trying to figure out what the long strip next to the alley is. It's like there's a lot going the other way. Well, that's the alley, but what's above
this is
it?
actually the alley, and these are the adjoining property owners, right?
Okay.
This is actually the alley, and these are the individual property owners.
There's a wide strip through the middle. Who does that belong to? Not the alley, but the rest of that strip.
Where your wording's at.
Or your wording's at?
That is the alley.
I thought the red thing was the alley.
No.
No, the
That's
whole
just a
thing.
mark.
That's just the
That's
mark.
kind of
The
underlined.
entire thing is the alley.
The text creates a background so that you can see the text better.
I thought the red mark must be the alley.
The alley.
Well, 12 feet, that's pretty narrow.
That's the alley.
Okay.
I move for first reading of bill number 2020-42.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2020-42, an ordinance to vacate the 12.5-foot wide east-west alley at College Lake and Barnes addition to the City of Mexico, Missouri. I move for we gotta have second reading. I move for second reading, Bill number 2020-42.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2020-42, an ordinance to vacate the 12.5-foot wide east-west alley in College Lake and Barnes addition to the City of Mexico, Missouri. I move for passage.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay. Bill number 2020-43, an ordinance to vacate a 20-foot wide east-west utility easement located between Lot 2 and Lot 4 in the Gallagher Smith Foods Oak Acres subdivision at the south boundary line of 22-370 Aldrain Road, 814 in the City of Mexico, Missouri. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. We again had a request here to vacate this easement, and the Planning and Zoning Commission has met and made a recommendation. And to cover the information and the recommendation, once again, Rita Jackson.
As stated, this agenda item concerns a request from Gary Yelton to vacate a 20-foot wide east-west utility easement, which is located between lots 2 and lots 4 in Gallagher Smith Fights Oak Acre subdivision, excepting the east 10 feet from the northeast property corner of Lot 2 and the west 10 feet from the southwest property corner of Lot 4. This utility easement is located south of Cunningham Road, north of Cherry Tree Drive, east of South Clark, and west of Linwood Drive. Mr. Yelton is interested in purchasing a parcel of land immediately to the south of the easement to build a shop for personal use. One adjacent property owner, Ruth Ann Johnson, was notified with no objection. All utilities were contacted, and no utilities have reported facilities within the area being proposed for vacation, nor do any take issue with the vacating this portion of the easement. Approval was granted at the July 7th Planning and Zoning meeting, and a copy of those minutes were attached. If vacated, this section of the utility easement will no longer be available for use by utilities, and no property will change in an easement vacation. Staff recommend the council proceeds with 2 readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance. This ordinance has been posted the required time.
So the blue is his property and the green is the easement? Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay.
Yes.
I move for first reading of Bill number 2020-43.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2020-43, an ordinance to vacate a 20-foot wide east-to-west utility easement located between Lot 2 and Lot 4 in the Gallagher Smith Foods Oak Acres subdivision at the south boundary line of 2020-370 Aldrain County Road, 814 in the City of Mexico, Missouri. I move for the second reading of Bill number 2020-43.
Second.
Somebody second.
Williams.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yeah.
Bill number 2020-43, an ordinance to vacate a 20-foot wide east-to-west utility easement located between Lot 2 and Lot 4 in the Gallagher Smith Foods Oak Acres subdivision at the south boundary line of 2020-370 Aldrain Road, 814 in the City of Mexico, Missouri. I move for passage of Bill number 2020-43.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay. Other business. Staff report. Purchase of a complete portable push camera inspection system for the wastewater department. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, this was a budgeted item, and we advertised and received bids. To cover the bids and recommendation, Kenzie Russell.
The push camera is the small diameter camera that we use to inspect building service laterals, essentially lines that are 3 and 4 inches in diameter. Our larger camera will handle the larger diameter lines. Being a push camera, it also goes around bends and fittings better. This is a replacement for our current camera system, which is aging out. It also includes a multi-channel locator so that we can follow not only the camera, but also the cable that we push with, and be able to track that and actually locate those underground pipes using this camera. The low bid was submitted by Co-Equipment, Inc. of Rochester, Illinois, who also happened to be the manufacturer or the distributor for our current camera system. USA Blue Book also submitted a bid. It was not as complete a system as the one from Co. So we determined Co. to be not only the lowest but the best bid, and would recommend authorizing the purchase.
I make a recommendation that we purchase the portable push camera from Co-Equipment of Rochester, Illinois.
Second.
Briggs?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Hay?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Okay, appointments to various boards and committees. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor. The first being the Building Code Board of Appeals. For the most part, we need to appoint all 5 members. Currently, Bob Allen's term expired in June 2020. Bob is a plumber, and he has expressed interest in reappointment. There are 4 other positions that are currently vacant on the board. Each of those positions do require to be individuals with education, training, work experience, and so on in architect, engineering, plumbing, electrical, and so on, so they have to be in the fields. There were 4 people that did express interest in serving. Dustin Blue, which is a general contractor, Rick Gibney, which is electrical, Dennis Mommons, mechanical, and Brian Hafner, which is an engineer. So, we would recommend all be appointed, council. This would be for 5-year terms, and so when we do these, we would have to identify which ones are for which terms. And so you would have, because we have different terms here, you have 2 terms that are vacating, that would be for unexpired that end in 2021. You'd have 1 term that would expire in 2022, and then you'd have a term that expired in 2024 and a term that expires in 2025. So the first would probably be the easiest, would be to say Bob Allen's term, which would actually be for a 5-year term to go to 2025, and then you would pick the other ones to which terms you wish them to be assigned to.
Got you. All right. I'm going to make a recommendation that we appoint Bob Allen to the Building Code Board of Appeals for the 2025 term.
Second.
Briggs?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Hay?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
I'm going to make a recommendation that we appoint Rick Gibney to the 2024 term.
Second.
Briggs?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Hay?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
I'm going to make a recommendation that we appoint Dustin Blue to the 2022 term.
You want to add another one, do them both?
Well, I thought there was 2 for 2021 and 1 for 2022.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see.
Second.
That's
Briggs?
blue.
Yes.
Shivers?
Yeah.
Williams?
Yes.
Hay?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
I make a recommendation that we appoint Dennis Mommons and Brian Hafner to the 2021 terms.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
All right, I get that right.
You got it right. Thank you. Good job. Glad you took that one off.
I was writing it like I had my notes. I'm like, okay. Just writing a date and a name, whatever name I saw first.
It works. It works. Okay, so we have another one, Mexico Housing.
Yes,
Authority.
so, Your Honor, Martin Keller's term expired June of 2020. He has expressed interest in reappointment. We have not received any other, anyone else expressing interest to serve on this board. This is a mayor's appointment, and then we would need council to concur.
Okay, I would like to appoint Martin Keller to, for reappointment to the Mexico Housing Authority Board.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Actually, wait a minute, Marcy. Because it's her appointment, then we would need the motion and the second.
I motion we accept the mayor's appointment of Martin Keller to the Mexico Housing Authority Board.
Now I'll second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
All right, and now, we're at the end. Oh, no, we're not. Claims. We need to, we definitely need to.
Second.
Yes. We need to pay the bills.
He had a motion.
I move.
No.
Second.
Miller and then Briggs.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
All right. Comments from council, starting with Mr. Hay. Councilman Hay.
I guess we had a little bit of uptick about a week ago with the COVID, and but I think we're going back down. I like, as we move, we're having, school meetings, and I just, want to say everybody out there, be safe, social distance. We need to get back to normal, especially in the schools, and as quickly as possible, and it's going to take everybody's effort to get that done. And so, live your life, but be respectful and be safe, and try to get back to normal as quick as possible.
Thank you.
I'm going to second his comments on the COVID, and I'm going to add a story that just happened today. And speaking of being responsible, we actually had a person call the store and ask us, even though they had COVID, could they still come get food? And I was like, you're supposed to be quarantined if you have COVID. So, I understand people don't like it, and I get it, but it's a matter of health and safety. And, I've always said, whatever you want to do to yourself, that's fine, but you got to respect other people as well. And so I just thought that was kind of like, wow, somebody really asked me that. But I almost had to double take, really. And then on the shelter board, I don't have a problem with the shelter. I just think we should just bid it. So it wasn't a problem with that. And I think maybe we, could have bid it and maybe got a little bit more because they were going to have no contract at all. If we didn't do the parkway and we just moved it. So it is what it is. So I'm glad they're going to get a new shelter. So that's it.
Ms. Briggs?
I certainly go along with all of them on being careful with what's going on with the virus. We did have an uptick today, I think, and after not having any the day before, but we all need to just be thinking about it. I go into the store and only about half the people, tonight I'm sitting here, but, not wearing masks, and we all just need to be careful and aware of what's going on around us. Other than that, I've just been watching this pool come down slowly but surely. The pool coming down. And so anyway, I have nothing more than that.
Mr. Miller?
I think they said it all. Just be careful.
And I
Stay home if you have to.
Exactly.
I'm so tired of being home.
I've started back to work, so I'm going back and forth again, but we can't reiterate it enough, and it's, it's not about sometimes our own personal preferences and stuff. We have to look at our community and realize there's some that are much more vulnerable than we are. And my philosophy is, if wearing a mask makes a difference for one, it was worth it. If you had a mask on and it didn't make a difference, it didn't hurt anything, you're still where you were. So I just hope people are just responsible, and I know there'll be some excited people knowing that that shelter is getting fixed, and that I called it the sidewalk to nowhere for many years, will actually have a place to go now. So thank you, council, for doing that. And at this time, Mr. Slade?
I have nothing this time, Your Honor.
Okay, now we have public comments. Time for public comments. If anyone has anything to say, we ask you to state your name and address for the record and keep comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Are there any?
Hi, my name is Joshua Price, and I live at 116 Mary Street. And with the new installation of the water mains going through town, there's actually newer technology, or I guess implementation of water turbines inside the water mains that can help generate electricity through gravity pulling the water. Was that technology implemented when we started putting in these new water mains?
The city has nothing to do with the water mains. That's Missouri American Water, so you'd have to talk to them. It's not within our jurisdiction.
Okay, so you don't know if they did or not?
We have nothing to do with it.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Is there any other?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Briggs?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Hayes?
Yes.
Miller?
Adjourned.